home or anywhere in the world with just your laptop, computer, or smartphone. Intrigued? Well, stay tuned because Michael Carnegie is about to unveil the secrets of an exciting online business. Friends, this isn't your typical business. In fact, it's so unique that you don't sell a single product. Instead, you share the incredible benefits of this opportunity with others, helping them kickstart their journey to passive income. And the best part? It's automated, running 24/7, 365 days a year. So what's the catch? There isn't one. No need to stock inventory, handle shipping, or deal with customer service. Just sit back, relax, and watch your income grow. But how do you get started? That's the easy part. The entire training program is video-based, making it accessible to anyone, regardless of their background or experience. And if you ever find yourself in need of guidance, mentors are there to support you every step of the way. Now you might be wondering, what's the real payoff? Well, here it is. More time with your family. Picture never missing out on your children's important milestones, creating countless memories due to increased travel time, and having the financial freedom to save for retirement and even that dream home. Imagine a life where you're not tied to a 9-to-5 routine, but instead you're in control of your time and your destiny. This is not just a business opportunity, it's a lifestyle change. If you're ready to take the plunge into a world of unlimited potential, where your success is only limited by your ambition, then this online business may just be the game changer you've been waiting for. To learn more and start your journey to financial freedom, visit the website at www.michaelmcarnegie.com. That's www.michaelmcarnegie.com. Don't let this opportunity pass you by.
The world is a troubled place. We must find time to save the human race. Love, unity, and empathy has no place among the human race. In this transition, when we live in love and harmony and show respect with unity, only love can set us free to fight injustice wherever it be. Just said the hungry must be fed, but man can't live by only bread. We have the future in our hands. Let's take the track to the promised land. Jamaica, Ethiopia, America, calling, Nyankopong, calling, Nyankopong, calling, Nyankopong, calling. From the middle of the graveyard to the center of the sea, our ancestors, are you and me, we are the great ones. From the beginning of time, we have the heart, the soul, the body, and the mind. Calling, Nyankopong, calling, Nyankopong, calling, Nyankopong, calling. United we stand, divided we fall. All for one and one for all. Some never know themselves until them back against the wall. Jamaica, Haiti, Nyankopong a call, calling, Nyankopong, calling, Nyankopong, calling, Nyankopong, calling, Nyankopong, Nyankopong. United we stand, divided we fall. All for one and one for all. Some will never know themselves until they're back against the wall. Nigeria and Nigeria, the Asians wanna call. Calling, 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 Nyankopong. Calling, 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 Nyankopong. Calling, 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 Nyankopong. Calling, 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 Nyankopong. Aya, 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 aya. Hoya, 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 ho. Aya, 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 aya. Hoya, 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 hoya. The bingy man's calling, calling, calling. Nyankopong calling, calling, calling. The Boba warrior calling, ancient warrior calling. Asia is calling, ancestral powers calling. China is calling, calling, calling. Na na na, yeah. Calling. We've got to find a way to unite. Gotta seize all the fight, cause you know it's not right. The bingy man is calling. Oh yes, he's calling. Oh, they're calling. Oh, I say they calling. Higher, 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 higher.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Sorry.
Yeah, graduate. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for joining me. We're gonna have class tonight, and I think we have a special class lined up. Professor Strength is here with us. I think Professor Strength has never met Dr. Judith McLean, but away from that, he has met meet with everyone. So you're all familiar with his spiritual awakening theme that he preaches, and I hope that he is in good standing to give us another good lesson. Remember, we also have to know yesterday was about nutrition. Today is about spiritual awakeness. It's about things that is happening around us and we can't see it with our third eye. And Professor Strength, he has been doing some research and he shares his knowledge with us. And I think he's very in depth when he start to deliver his message. So pay keen attention, and we will get some substance from it. Grand Rising, Professor Strength, how are you doing? And good to see you. Haven't seen you, haven't heard from you in the classroom in a long while, but it's good to have you here today. Grand Rising.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Been very, very busy out of town, not having the ability to attend class, but always seeking and looking for the the power that's within. You know what I mean? So let's start, and I'm going to ask the class what they think God represents.
Governmental ordinance directive.
All right. So is a governmental ordinance department. Right? That's one. Anyone else?
God over devil.
Anyone else?
Hey.
Anyone?
The question was,
What do they think God represents? God.
okay.
What if I said, you? You are a representation of the creator. Right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
From the top of your head to the bottom of your toes, you are a representation of creation. You cannot look upon creation. That's why you've never seen your face. You've only seen reflections and refractions of yourself. But when you look down, all you see is a nose, the tip, but you've never seen your nose hole. You've never seen your eyeballs. You've never seen your cheeks, your teeth, your smile, your tongue. Unless it's long, you could stick it out and touch your nose, but you've never seen your ears. But if I said you've never seen or look upon creation, because you shall surely die. Isn't that what they say in the Bible, in the Biblio-Heliothek? So,
Yep.
how many holes do we have in our head? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They say that there's 7 is the number of creation. So
Yes, I am listening to you. What do you mean, what did I take you for? This is a traveler's permit.
So now I want to go on and just see what is the definition of a minor, or what is the definition of a major? Does anyone know? If
It's on the
we are
screen.
to- can you read that for us, Gadites?
Yes, I will. Early in free minor, it says Latin minor, lesser, smaller, junior, figuratively inferior, less important, which was formed as a masculine / feminine form of minus on the mistake assumption that minus was a netter comparative from pi root, meaning too small, minor.
So, in the legal term, does anyone realize that a minor is one who cannot handle their own affairs?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And that's
did
why
anyone-
they all put us and name us as minors lost at sea, and they could take over.
Right. So, did anyone ever change their status from minor to major?
Yes.
And since this is a military occupied complex, majors are to be saluted.
In charge. Yes, the majors.
Well, they're to be saluted, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So now we can see that even if we're over the age of majority, they say, oh, it's a minor government. If we have a minor government, does that mean that the government cannot handle their own affairs?
Technically, yes.
And therefore, they have to be organized by bureaucrats. And we always hear those words, bureaucrats and bureaucracy and all this kind of stuff, right? The bureaucrats, the bureaucrats say that, what do you call it? Oh, this is just bureaucracy. We can't do this and we can't do it because of bureaucracy. And when you look up the definition of bureaucracy, you actually see that it's one who we did not elect, but they are in control. So, who is God? In God we trust. And it says, we the people. So, are the people the GODs? The ones that are in control? The ones that should be in control of their own affairs? Because there's nowhere on the planet that I know of that says, in God we trust. When you go to Europe, you see lions and unicorns on their coat of arms. When you go anywhere, you see only animals on coat of arms, or animals as a representation. You don't usually see humans, do you? Unless you go to Jamaica and see the coat of arms of the Jamaicans, and you'll see that they are the indigenous tribal people. On each side. So in God we trust, the governmental ordinance department. What does that mean? Why is it dog backwards? Has anybody ever heard of Sirius or the Sirius star system that the Dogon speak
Yes.
about?
Yeah, man.
And they say it's the dog star. What if I was to say it's the God star? And majority of the influential aspects basically are influenced by or to this planet is from the God star. And if we were ever to look within ourselves to find certain answers, we would actually find the answers, wouldn't we? Have you ever had the time when you're sitting there and you don't know what to do, and you think to yourself, you're like, what should I do? What should I do? Or what can I do? Or where can I find that? You lost your keys and you can't find your keys, and then a little bit later you let it go, but then therefore you know exactly where they are. There's 500 billion sperm in a man's testicles. And out of 500 billion sperm, you're the only one that made it. In a woman, there's cleaning fluid that is detrimental to a sperm. The ratio of a sperm is you in the planet blindfolded looking for a pair of keys, which is your body. There's right and left fallopian tube, and you make the right choice, whatever choice that you make. Pick right or left. But you actually knew where it was. Now, all these scientists, they say, oh, it's what do you call it? It's just random choice. And then when the egg finds, or when the sperm finds the egg, it enters the egg, and then there's a bright spark of light. Nobody knows what happens or where that light comes from. But we've gone over the class and realized that light is energy, and energy is heat, and heat is light, and light is also frequency. So within us, on the deeper, like molecular stage or aspect, we are of the same stuff that we were told our creator is made up of. It says, let us make man in our own image. So there has to be more than one. I want to play a video for you, and it's from a Moorish sister. Now, when we say we're sovereign or sovereign to the land, right? What does that mean? Anyone?
Play the tape, Professor.
Yes. But what does that mean? What do you think that means?
Self-determination.
You are Maroons, right? Maroons are, well, I say Maroons are Aztecs. I say Maroons are Mayans. Maroons are Incas. Maroons are of those people that were here before Christopher Columbus. It's like me saying right now, okay, when you look into history, we were always fighting a foreign entity that just wants resources. But when we look deeper, we've been fighting ourselves. Because our energy, our thoughts actually is the one that manipulates the surroundings. Every single thing that you can think of, you look around, you see that it came from your mind. You can look at the list of inventors, the Negro list of inventors. They didn't come from China, they didn't come from Europe, they came from here. And in certain notes, like Christopher Columbus, they say, oh, it was the greatest, most advanced civilization that I've ever come across. Organized, powerful, spiritual, peaceful people, very kind, very loving, very caring. But this tape, I wanted to go over what, if you can play the tape, just how she explains. Because there was more than one tribe here. There was Maroons here, there was Moors here, there was indigenous, what do you call it? Mongolians here.
I agree with that. That's why we always had multiple wars, because tribes was always fighting against tribes.
Right.
The Khan dynasty was a big dynasty that was here. And go ahead, Professor.
What if I told you it was a global empire?
Yes, it was.
Before there was the United Nations, right? Before there was the United Nations, there was the UNIA. How did certain people that just came out of slavery create a global entity that basically was organized to work with each other?
But just like how you heard about the Justice League, it's the League of Nations that was there. You know, and who was running the League of Nations was the indigenous tribal brothers and sisters. It wasn't of this mind frame politically how we're seeing it run right now. And even with the wealth distribution, wealth was not distributed through paper money, it was distributed through your lineage. Your lineage had wealth in it. So therefore, that's how dynasties were maintained.
Well, if you follow the Europeans' conquest of colonialism, you will actually see that majority of the places that they went to had kings and queens. But yet, in our school system, they tell us that we were just slaves. And they promote it.
But
Keep
I
promoting it every single year.
and this is how they degenerate the status quo, because slavery, as it has been put forward, Yugoslavia, these words as to describing people came from that colonializing of people. You don't get me wrong, there was prisoners of war. A prisoner of war is different than a slave. And this is how they use the word slave now to just brand the entirety. And that's why the month of February in some places are just taken as so-called Black History Month. The propaganda has become normalized.
Well, can you play the video?
So let's rename it to Prisoner of War Month.
Of course, well, yeah, yo, the thing about it is how a prisoner of war was like when tribes was having disagreement, and I come over your village, and we settle, and it's for the next 7 years. Uno go work for the tribe because the tribe are overpowered and do what them to do, and so you become a prisoner of war. But then now, prisoner of war is different from human trafficking. And that is the real name of slavery, human
Mhm.
trafficking,
Yep,
which is still happening today.
still happening.
Alright, I just said what's lawful and legal is two
Thank you.
different things.
Thank you, my brothers. Thank you. It can always be legal in the eyes of the colonizers, but in the
See,
eyes of the natural man and woman, it is not lawful. Let me play.
what
Go
I
ahead.
wanted to what I wanted to do is
Uh-huh.
to basically find the God within me.
Okay.
From my point of view, I'm the king of this castle. Just like you. From your point of view, you are the king of this castle, right? Now, out of 500 billion sperm, like I said, you're the only one that made it. So you have the capability to become your higher level of consciousness, yes or no?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, definitely.
Right. Now, in this world, there's only been a few, not even 1% of a group of humans that can actually achieve those things. Maybe in ancient times where you were taught to become your higher level of self, right?
Professor, but in ancient times, we will probably teaching the kids how to breathe properly from a young age, and that will
Exactly.
help manifest a lot of stuff that you're talking about.
That is exactly right.
Remember, your first breath that you take is giving thanks, you know. This is how you breathe. That's the name. That is one of those great with breathing techniques, and we were teaching our children how to be celestial gods. Now we teach our kids, our offspring, how to be earthly subjects. Celestial mean that you use up all of the telepathic powers that we have, the, you know what I mean, the smelling. Remember them tell us it's only 5 senses alone you have, you know, but that's a lie. You have more than 5 senses. What about the sense of vision? As in not vision through eyes, but vision through thought. Ever think about that? As Professor said to us, the water is intelligent, the earth is intelligent, the air is intelligent, the fire is intelligent, but we are not taught to know those intelligence. Whenever you tell somebody, say, you know that I come out of my body and could see certain things, they tell you you're mad. But that's just the comprehension of the little mind, the lower level.
So there's two, then you can say that there's duality or dual aspects of our nature. We have the sperm and the egg coming together to create one. Right? You see what I'm saying? They say that people are now going back saying, oh, there's no zero. But the thing is, there has to be a zero, because look at the egg. Everyone's looking at things in a two-dimensional space. Look at the zero. If the zero was to spin, what would it look like?
8. Infinite. No beginning, no end.
It would look like an egg.
Yes.
Right? It would look like your shell.
Yes.
Now look at the sperm. Everybody, what do you call it? Oh, you know, the thing is blah, blah, blah. This is it. And we all came here with tails. So the real monsters, we could be really bad and we could be really good. And it's really, really hard to be good. It's easy to be bad. It's easy to get down to our carnal self, our lower levels.
Sister Barrett is saying that we were programmed how to think. Yes. Yes, Sister Barrett.
Now, if you were alone on this planet and you were the only one around, who would you ask to do things?
For direction, I'd ask the breeze. I'd put my finger in my mouth and put it up and ask the breeze which direction is the wind coming from, and these are how I tell you that we're fully done, because our intellectual skills, we don't use it. I just said a while ago, to find a sense of direction where the breeze coming from, our ancestors would put their finger in their mouth and put it up, and they would know where the breeze is coming from.
Okay.
You would actually, your ears only can hear a certain frequency because you haven't trained them. Your eyes can only see a certain frequency because you haven't trained them. Even your smell, even your taste, your touch. Look at a blind man. A blind man can actually hear better than most. There's a child who basically runs around and plays completely blind, but he uses echolocation just by clicking. Because his mom told him that he was just like everybody else and all he has to do is just figure it out. Right? So he figured it out. Certain people say, oh, I got these information through dreams. Well, guess what? It's you taking it from inside yourself. I just want you to play a little bit of the video and then we're going to go to the last one.
All right, let me play this video, Professor. We have it all queued up. Grand Rising Sister Crystal, thank you for joining us. And, you know, yes, good to see you. Good to see you. Brother Jackson and Sister Angela, of course, Brother
Grand Rising, everyone.
Yes. Let me play the tape, please. All righty.
I just want you to listen. Listen carefully what she says.
This is for educational purposes.
Law really is.
Most of us think that we go into a courtroom and understand the difference between a court and a courtroom, that the people who purport to use law really use words of art to make you believe, in fact, that law is on the table when you walk into a courthouse or a courtroom, when in fact that's not true. And I would like to share with you tonight, regardless of your religious persuasion, what law really is. Law, and as Muslims would say, all law, is A-L-L space L-A-W, all law, all law. So for anyone who's of a Christian persuasion, don't be misled. And when you hear the term all law is God, all right? That is also what we would say in lawful terms, a misnomer. Allah is not God. God has no capacity and no standing to all law, because God means governmental ordinance departments. There is no comparison. Now, who can use law? Law can only be used by people who are in their sovereign capacity. And as I will share with you tonight, the majority of the people in the world, and I'm not going to get into all of the details about that, but the majority of the people in the world, 99% of them live in slavery today. So in 1863, via the Emancipation Proclamation, and I challenge you to go look in a law dictionary and look up the definition of emancipation and proclamation, and you will see that a proclamation is not a law. A proclamation is a public announcement by elected officials. It is not a law. So the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863 did not set any slaves free. What it did was standardize slavery, the United States being the model for the standardization of slavery, that all of the other nations around the world, as they reduced their people from their sovereign capacity and forced them to join nation states, then they were able to issue statute, codes, ordinances, resolutions on them. And a statute, as in a state statute of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, is not a law. It is corporate policy of the corporation that calls itself the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Incorporated. All right. Now, a code is not a law. The United States codes, the code of the laws of the United States of America that are used in federal court and the Supreme Court, are not law. They are what they say they are. They are codes, ordinances, and resolutions of a municipality of the city of Philadelphia, which is a private nonprofit corporation that calls itself the city of Philadelphia. An ordinance and a resolution, as in parking ordinances, they are not law. They are what they say they are. They are ordinances and they are resolutions. All right. And the reason they are not law is because the only people who can issue law are people who are acting in their sovereign capacity. And the people who sit in these seats as elected officials are not, in fact, in their sovereign capacity. They are in a corporate ward status, meaning that they are wards of the state. They are members of the corporation, which is a nonprofit that calls itself the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And as long as they have a birth certificate on record with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, with that birth certificate being a contract, a birth certificate is a contract. And as long as you have a contract with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Incorporated, you belong to them. And that's what slavery really is, right? So who can use law? If you are a member of a corporate ward state, if you are a member of a corporate ward nation that calls itself the United States of America, you are a citizen. Look in the law dictionary and look up the definition of citizen. A citizen is not a sovereign. A resident is not a sovereign. Therefore, if you use an address, which is a fictitious number associated with a designation issued by a corporate ward, right? Then you become under the jurisdiction of those people who are also corporate wards, but who are also slaveholders. All right. So if you are operating in that capacity, law does not apply to you. If you are a resident of the city of Philadelphia, which is a private nonprofit corporation, and you say you are a resident of the city of Philadelphia, then the ordinances and the resolutions of that private nonprofit corporation apply to you. If you are a citizen of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Incorporated, which is a private nonprofit corporation, then the statutes of that nonprofit corporation apply to you. If you are a citizen of the United States of America, which is a private nonprofit corporation, then the code of the laws, right, apply to you. But if you are a sovereign of the Moorish Empire, those ordinances, those resolutions, those codes, those statutes do not apply to you because you are not a member of the corporate ward state. It's as simple as that. And they understand the difference. This is why on their documents, they use words of art. They use the word label. They use the word person. They use the word address. All of these things that place you in their jurisdiction, and you unknowingly fill out forms every day. And every time you fill out a form, you enter into a contract. I don't care what kind of form it is. It's a contract. A driver's license application is a contract. A social security application is a contract. When you call up the telephone company and you make a verbal contract over the telephone, this is why they can bill you. When you sign a deed, it is a contract. When you fill out a voter registration form, it is a contract. Does everybody understand that? Don't ever think anything that you put your signature on becomes a contract. All right? Now, the fact that you are not in your sovereign status means that you make a contract as a minor. They don't care. They know you are a minor because, and to be other than a minor.
Okay. There was a lot that was said in that video, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're of the Maroon Empire. You are sovereign. You'll be a Moorish Empire. You are a sovereign. So you see that it's really tricks and traps to keep you in a slavery mentality, a lower self. That's why they
Yeah,
promote
everything is total trickery. Even with the money, how it's set up, you still have to use their money, regardless of how we get ourselves in the sovereign states. So that kind of forced us back into their thing. We're dealing with gold and silver.
One at a time. One at a time. I think the professor, professor, I have that tape lined up already, professor. I know exactly what I have it lined up. Yeah. Great mind things alike, and I think what we must, and I'm asking the class them, we are so much intertwined right now that we are thinking alike. Do not be surprised if the thought that goes through your head is the said thing, me think about, professor think about, Crystal think about. We are creating a neck. This is the real internet, intertwine instinct. This is what we're doing now. So we soon don't have to call each other on a telephone. I'm telling you, once we all get on that vibration, it's going to be a whole different level. So Akeem, you and the professor is on the same wave strength, and I have something that the professor said come to me this morning that is going to concrete that thinking. But professor, I'll allow you to elaborate before I play that tape.
Well, the thing about it is that anyone can look in their pocket and realize that there is no living entity on any bill anywhere. A dopey note and a dopey money. This is a spell that's been cast. People think that there's no witchcraft or magic or anything like that going on, but if you really think about it, they've been casting spells since they went around the whole entire world, robbing the graves, stealing.
We must understand that there's one thing with the Bible, aka the Bible. It is the testimony of our ancestors, and within the testimony of our ancestors, which is their life record that is put under their headstone, they leave certain things that we can relate to because we have lived that life record. Only thing changes season, people. Nothing else hasn't changed. So, with the concept of the Bible, it said what was in the beginning? The word. So we're under a word spell. That's why them say we're dumb and illiterate, because they put us under a spell through words, witchcraft through words, and then words go on paper, and then them put picture to pic. I have the tape line up, Professor. I don't want to say it.
Play the tape, but don't play it all because I want to get to that next one. You'll like the next one.
Don't play. Which is the money one I'm going to play now?
Yeah, that's the one I want you to play.
I have it lined up. Let me play, please. All righty. Let's get it going.
People think about witches and witchcrafts, they imagine people who fly at night using broomstick and plantain leaves. But when I think about witchcrafts, this is what I think about. The fact that a group of people were able to cut out pieces of paper and then put an imaginary value on it, value that we cannot see. And we now take this piece of paper from them in exchange for gold, crude oil, diamond, our human labor. People walk to their deaths because of this. That would never stop being diabolical to me. There have got to be a spell behind why this concept, this idea was accepted globally the way it was, and why it's still working just fine the way it is still today. And you know what I think? I think these imaginations are their resources. They figured, oh, so we really don't have any resources. Let's create our own. These people are the literal example of manifesting destiny. These people manifested their resources into existence, and they made sure that they have way more resources than everyone else in the world. And if you are a people whose only resources is a man-made resources, and these man-made resources don't have value, you are screwed. And that is why they would never let other people's currencies become equal to theirs or higher than theirs. And guess what? Every single day that goes by, this is becoming even more and more of an imagination. Because every single day we are moving further into this cashless policy. We are beginning to see less and less of this. Now we are doing more of transfers. Now you can go to the market and buy a basket of tomatoes and just open your app and transfer figures to somebody and you have paid. People would give you 2 bars of yam for figures that you transferred with the internet. That is crazy. And as if the concept of regular money wasn't crazy enough, them folks upgraded. They created cryptocurrency. At least this one started with something we can feel and see. You get, but that one from the jump, from the very beginning, from its inception, you can't see it. It's just numbers and vibes. Like crypto is on a different dimension of witchcraft and wizardry. These people were able to give value to an imagination. And now they use this imagination to even buy things. And there are people who are considered richest, this, that, and the third in the world because of how much of this imagination that they have been able to acquire. Like, how do you acquire an imagination? I'm slowly starting to feel like we all have mental health issues, because why the fuck did we all agree that this imagination is real? How are we not collectively seeing the scam? How are we not collectively seeing the game that is at play here? They are constantly moving the goalposts with one imagination after another, so you would never be able to catch up. I don't know. I have so many feelings in my head right now that I can't even put into words. I don't even know if I'm coherent enough in this video and people can actually pick any sense here, but I hope.
Wow. Yep.
Whoa,
Heights
whoa,
of
whoa.
witchcraft. Heights of witchcraft, brothers and sisters. Mighty.
Yes, sir.
Dopey notes.
Dopey notes.
Is it? Everybody I kill everybody for nothing. Not a thing. Imagination.
Jesus.
You stab your own brother in your back for your imagination. You go to war, your imagination. And it's somebody else's imagination, not even your own. It's a few group of bankers. You see it? It's people who basically put dead people on the note. You don't even have the living people. The only one that was alive that was on the note was the queen, and her wand was broken at her funeral. So that wasn't witchcraft?
Big time.
If she had a wand that was broken and put on her casket. That's not witchcraft, Bridget.
They say that it was a Walt Disney one, Alice in Wonderland. But my thing, brothers and sisters, is they don't hide their witchcraft, do they? They don't hide it. They get it. Go ahead, Prophet.
So,
Actually promote it.
so it was okay to kill our people because we knew how to use herbs to heal. We know how to use nature. We can speak to trees. We can speak to the air. We can speak to the earth itself. And it's okay to get rid of our people, but when we see the witchcraft right in front of your face, we call it money. But money is actually gold and silver and nothing else. Spirit is actually breath, nothing else. So I want you to start playing the next video, because this is very important for you to know. We sit there and we basically have the biblioheliotech, but we have no idea of the understanding of what it actually is. So I've always asked the questions, right, to certain preachers who get very frustrated with me, and that's why they used to kick me out of Sunday school. Because I would ask them straight up, okay, Adam and Eve. Okay, so if we're from Adam and Eve, they had Cain and Abel, a two-man. Where did we come from? Hold on, when Cain killed Abel and took him and I'm Nebel, and he went to the east to his people, where did those people come from? I thought we came from Adam and Eve. Oh, there's only one God? Oh, let us create man in our own image. Hold on for a second. That sounds plural. So a lot of the stories is allegory. Is it really a representation of real life situations or real life things? When we're using certain words like nice, hey, how do I look? How do I look in the shirt? Oh, you look nice. But then when we look up the etymology of nice, it means foolish. So a lot of the words right now that we use don't really mean the same things now, do they? Just like when I say God. Oh, God is a pagan word. Oh, God is this and God is that. Oh, you fear God. Okay, hold on for a second. And then when you start realizing, hold on, I came in this world alone. I gotta fear myself, or I gotta fear the image of myself, or I gotta fear a creation that created me. That don't make sense now, does it? Now, doesn't fear bring you down to your lower self? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Lower frequency.
lower frequency, lower vibration. Now, when you start going to your lower vibration, that means that your heart starts beating different. All your cells, every single cell in your body is a replication of one cell. Every single cell listens to that thought, that fear, that lower vibration. Pretty easy to get the whole world to believe that they were going to die to take a experimental vaccine, right? Get everybody into that lower vibration, so they fear life. They fear death. And you're going to love the next class, because guess what? Right now, we're going to understand life. So can you play that video? Because we're on a journey right now. And I know if you close your eyes, you'll see nothing. But when you open your eyes, you have the ability to separate light, frequency, to see colors. Be glad that you have eyes to see. If you were deaf, you have the ability to separate different frequencies and tones. Be glad that you have ears to hear. You could be a mute. Be glad that you can speak into existence what you want to have in your life. If you didn't see so much bullshit around you, you wouldn't be able to smell it. You would enjoy being in the shit. Enjoy, and be glad that you have taste buds that can give you the delicious flavors of food. Why? Because they are taking away your ability to even taste. Haven't you noticed a lot of food in North America is very bland now? No flavor. The what do you call it? The orange. The orange has been genetically altered to take away the seeds, and now the orange don't even taste like an orange.
And you know what? You know what? It's not the first time, or not recently, the U.S. been doing genetically engineered food, and it's been several decades.
Right. And they used to call it eugenics before they called it GMO. But eugenics got a bad name now, didn't it? Just
Exactly.
like, just like nations, the League of Nations, it got a bad name. Now it's the United Nations. Once people start figuring out and understanding that, guess what? Bureaucrats don't live here. They don't care about here. And as long as they don't live here, why the hell am I listening to them? Why is it that our countries are not on the same level as any other country? It's because they don't know how to rule. They didn't do their research to realize that they could actually create their own economic structure. No, they would rather beg for handout. You ever heard of beggy, beggy, licky, licky?
No, sir.
Well, basically, hand to mouth. You're begging. You have your hand out. Super Nation. Please, sir, can I have some more? Instead of,
Professor, remember, Umar Gaddafi tried to set up something and they killed him because he was going to do the gold dinar.
mm-hmm. So then one goes down. Where's the other one? Hmm? See, the thing is
We,
that
we've
we
been
have.
waiting on one, but we can't keep waiting on them. We have to do something ourselves.
Now you see it. Now you see it. You have to do something for yourself. We can sit here and look up in the sky and wait for the a great awakening or the rapture or whatever. But while you're doing that, you're wasting your time because somebody else is doing something and they're living their heaven here. They'll tell you about all the fear and hell and all this kind of stuff, but guess what? And you have the same capabilities. You have the same ability to create trust so that therefore you can have that generational wealth. In God we trust. Why is that word trust so important? Do you trust yourself to make the right decisions in your life? Russ, can you play that video for me, please?
Which one of the video, Professor?
The first one I send you.
Okay, hold that thought, sir.
It's a YouTube one.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay. That one was
140. I sent it at 142.
okay. Hold that thought.
I can send it again.
Yeah, you could resend it for me, please.
Right there.
I got it. Thank you.
Your success door is locked. That's the name of the video.
Yeah, I got it, Professor.
Right on.
That, let's look together at something that I think you will find interesting, and finish it up next week. We'll kind of look at the human mind, how your mind has been programmed. I was watching television yesterday, and I turned on a religious program, and I was watching a Dr. Kennedy, James Kennedy. Come on, send your chair's waiting for you here. I was watching Dr. James Kennedy, and he was talking about the New Age, and he had a lot of problems with it. He said, because he said it is really taking up with psychology. And as a result, he was insinuating that when you get involved with psychology, you kind of come against Christianity, which is true. And what he said really shocked me. First of all, he's a very distinguished looking man. He's an eloquent speaker, beautiful speaker. He has a magnificent church setting with everything that, it just had credibility all over it. I mean, it was a magnificently beautiful place. But what I saw there actually was I saw people being programmed. Because what he said was this, he says, a lot of these people today in this psychology, they'll say to you that you are gods. And as such, he said, the problem is, where does this originate from? The fact that you are gods. He says it originates from Satan. He says Satan was the first one to say you are gods. And he said to Adam and Eve, if you'll do this, you will be like God. And so he says that this type of a thing, which brings psychology together and gets people to think that they have this position as gods, is from Satan. And so then I thought, well, gee, this guy is really a credible speaker. He's extremely distinguished, has all the credentials from all of the great universities. He's speaking in this magnificent place with all of the surroundings. And very few of those people were ever going to look really into a Bible to check anything. And so they all walked out of there with their minds programmed that this philosophy of believing that you are gods is satanic. He had done this, and he had to do this in order to protect the system. He has to do this in order to protect the traditional system of religion. But what I want you to do, I want you to open those little Bibles that I've given, or that you have out here, and I want you to open to page 876. And if you open to page 876, the rest of you go to the book of John, and I want you to look at something in there that Reverend Kennedy, in all of his eloquence, failed to note. And this is John chapter 10, okay? John chapter 10. And if you go with me, you'll go to verse 34, and there you'll see the words of Jesus Christ. And what does he say? Is it not written in your law, I said, you are gods? And if he called them gods unto whom the word of God came, the scripture cannot be broken. So it wasn't Satan who said you are gods. It's Jesus Christ who said you are gods. But the eloquent Christian preacher on television with thousands, millions of people watching him, neglected to tell people that this was said by Jesus. He said, oh, it's said by Satan, because the point is, if you don't realize that you're a God, and if you think you're a sniveling sinner, as religion tries to burden you with, then of course you will continue to reach out to the system instead of reaching into yourself. Now, let's go a little further than that. And there's a statement in the Bible that's in the Old Testament that is directed to you. And watch this and try to understand it if you can. Go to page 506, and at that you'll go to the book of Psalms. Book of Psalms, and go to Psalm 82, page 506. And this is quote unquote God, whatever that is, speaking. And God says in Psalm 82, verse 6, I have said you are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High, but you shall die like men and fall like one of the princes. So what do I have to do so I don't die like man and fall like one of the princes? Look at verse 8. Arise, O God, judge the earth, for you shall inherit all nations.
Do you like having a P.O. box but are tired of wasting time and money driving to the post office? At iPostal One, we can help. With iPostal One, you can get a real physical address that's better than a P.O. box for as little as $9.99 a month. Choose an address from thousands.
So that's what we're really to talk about. You have been conditioned, your mind has been conditioned, and for all of the years that your mind has been conditioned, you have.
Professor, you want to say something? Professor? Or I can continue playing.
I just wanted, you heard what it said, right?
Refresh my memory, please.
You heard what he said, right? Even went, remember, the thing about it is the system, right, has people who go to seminary. And when they go to seminary, they are taught the truth, but then they are programmed to teach you to fear yourself. So therefore, when you live your life and you hear anything coming on the TV, it's going to be fearful. Continue.
Okay, Professor. Hold on.
Have reacted and you have suffered, and we'll show you how. And you know, conditioning is an interesting thing. Gina, come here for a second. I want to introduce everybody on television. I want to introduce everybody on television all over the United States and Canada. The young lady used to be my secretary. This is Gina. Okay. Now, will you just tell me, do you know how to spell spot? I mean, do you know how to spell? Do you know how to spell spot?
Yes.
How do you spell spot?
S-P-O-T.
Spot. Now, will you spell it 5 times?
S-P-O-T, 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 S-P-O-T.
What do you do when you come to a green light?
Go.
Good. All right. Good. Good. And no, come up for a second.
Secretary, I wouldn't get that wrong.
99 people out of 100 will say stop. Okay. And you did good, but you know, what led you? Why were you thinking that? Just.
I was just concentrating on getting it right, but if I was going with the flow of things, I would have said stop.
Okay. See, what she did then, and that's why she's sitting here, because I've known her for a long time, and one of the things that she has done in her life is work to break the conditioning. That's why in October the 21st, she'll be up there with us to see Kitaro. We're breaking the conditioning. We're looking for something new. But it's true that if you condition people, and 99 people out of 100, if you say, you know, S-P-O-T, 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 and then say, what do you do when you come to a green light? They'll say, stop. Okay. But it's because the mind is conditioned, and that's what we'll look at tonight. Our conscious mind is the only entity on the face of the earth that remembers its beginning and looks forward to its end. The only one. And what happens basically in our lives, you know, we become like a puff of smoke, don't we? Take a look. There's a fellow's hat hanging on the wall. was quite a character, quite a young man. That black hat. You can't see it on TV. The black hat hanging on the wall is kind of a memory of somebody that came through this church. Very strange young man, had all kinds of difficult encounters with the law, and died in an automobile accident. And basically, his horror of his life was because of conditioning. Everything was programmed into here, how he would react, you know. And he tried desperately. And in fact, we worked very hard with him, and the conditioning was beginning to change. And then something happened. We'll get into that in another time. But basically, all of us then, what are you trying to do? You're trying to figure something out in your life, aren't you? I mean, because after all, what's your purpose here? What reason do you have? And the thing is that we're always trying to figure out next week or next month or what we're going to do, and yet we don't even know for what. What's the purpose of it? Where are you going? You know, when you think if you want security, and then you're living like a flea on a tennis ball going through the universe at 40,000 miles an hour with nobody driving it, you know, where's your security? Where are you going to go? And now, consider why you are the way you are. Why is Rose the way she is? Why is Don the way he is? Why is Albert the way he is? Why is Margaret the way he is? The point is, you think the way you do out of habits. It's habit.
After this video, your life is never going to be the same. So I need you to stop whatever you're doing and give me your undivided attention. Okay?
500, 1,000, even 2,000 a day. I love you. Thank you so much.
I can't tell you how good this feels. For the first time in my life, I bought something online and I got way more than my money's worth.
So I just kind of lucked out because a friend of mine had an invitation. He couldn't come, so he gave it to me.
Over $2,300 per day on average. I cannot tell you how good it feels.
76,000 in 4 months. I was a little skeptical at first, but I'm so glad that I decided to give it a chance. I legit make money in my sleep. You could have kept this technology to yourself, but you didn't. You decided to share it with us.
And the gurus, they just give you a lot of BS. Like, I don't even think they know what they're talking about.
That's why you are the way you are. You think the way you do out of habit. And habits are thoughts which dig themselves deep into the subconscious. Thoughts that are like seeds, and they burrow themselves deep into the subconscious. And when they are ready to blossom, those negative thoughts which have buried themselves deep into your subconscious will one day blossom into tumors. Here? One day, those thoughts which have buried themselves deep into your subconscious will blossom as tumors or some other kind of disease. And all of the festering that goes on in our minds, all of the festering that comes out through the subconscious, all of the hate which resurrects itself and grows out of the subconscious, we call tradition. Oh, even your parents said, why do you think the way? Because you do, that's why. Huh? Did you ever ask your father, why? Because I said so. And you know what? Many years ago, he asked his father why, and his father said, because I said so. Nobody ever has said why. It's just because. It's tradition. It's the way it's done. Go to page 792 in the little Bibles and look at Matthew chapter 15 and what Jesus says in Matthew chapter 15. Page 792. And in verse 6, he says, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus you have made the commandment of God of no effect by your tradition. You see, Jesus Christ had contempt for tradition. He had contempt for religion. He had contempt for everything that the system holds valuable and wonderful. Let it all fall down, he said. Let it all tumble down. He said, oh, what beautiful churches. He said, nothing but a pile of rocks. Let it all fall down. Because he had contempt for the tradition. But here's the point that you've got to understand. And this is the most magnificent thing of all. Inside of you is the power and the energy to take us all above all the negativity of these deep thoughts which are burrowed into our subconscious. all of the negativity which produced the hurt, all of the negativity which produced the disease and the violence inside of you is a power to take you above that. But you know what? Right now, your traditional thought patterns have you firmly locked in the lower. You're locked in the cellar, and there's a deadbolt lock on it, and very few of us know how to get the key to open the door to let all of that crap out. Very hard. Because, you know, it's important to understand something. The same power that brings bad fortune brings good. It's not a different power. There's only one power. It's not a question of the power. It's a question of how you use the power. Look at me. Understand something. What choice do you have but to take what I say to you? Where are you going in your life? You're getting older. Things start to run down. Where are you going? What's your direction? What are the possibilities? If you start to take into you what Jesus said, what Krishna said, what Buddha said, what I'm saying to you, if you take into this, then the future is unlimited. The possibilities are astral. Otherwise, you know what your future holds. If you take into yourself what the religionists tell you, then you can look forward to something supposedly happens at a Golden Gate after you die. Nothing now, after you die. If you take this power, which is electrical power, and you put it into the hands of an electrician, you put it into the hands of somebody who studies the power, understands the power, then they can light up the world. You put it in my hands, and I'll burn the building down in 5 minutes. Why? Because I don't understand the power. It's not the power is evil. It's when you touch the power and you don't understand what it is that you misuse it. So a person can use an automobile to drive to visit somebody at the hospital or to bring chocolates to their aunt who lives in Chicago. Another person can use the same automobile to rob a bank. It's not the automobile. It's those who are using it. And you know, that's why, if you look with me, and I forgot to write the page down, so somebody tell me where it is. Isaiah 45. What page is that on in the little Bibles? Isaiah chapter 45. 609, page 609. Okay? Isaiah chapter 45. And look what it says. Something that I very few Christians have ever seen, very few religionists have ever seen. But God makes the statement in Isaiah 45, verse 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. God creates evil. How? Atomic energy. It can light millions of homes. The same energy misused can kill millions of people instantly. So what's being said is the power is given unto you. How you use the power will either make it good or make it evil. And the unfortunate thing is, let's say if all of us were to go down to the nuclear plant here in Oyster Creek tomorrow and go to work there, and we'll take over the place. The same power that is lighting our building here now would all of a sudden erupt into streams of people flowing out of the county. Planes, everybody going in opposite directions because Ethel is in charge of the nuclear plant. Here is the nuclear scientist that is taking over. Nothing to worry about. Oh, do we have a present for you? Okay. So what are we talking about? It isn't a different power. The power hasn't changed, but all of a sudden people who are putting their hands on the power are doing it and they have no idea how to use it. And so basically then it becomes the same power that is good suddenly becomes evil. Okay?
Can you pause it there for a second?
What you have here are the conceptions that you have.
So I'm going to ask you a question. Do they know what they're doing?
Yeah, they were told.
Do the people in power know what they're doing?
Yep,
They
do.
Actually, they don't. They don't understand how to rule. They don't even know how to rule themselves. Look at most of our politicians. Look at most of our bureaucrats. Do they look like they know how to even rule their bodies? Well, do they?
No, they don't.
They don't.
No, look at Sleepy Joe.
Taking a crap on stage. And it's a sad shame, because the thing about it is we keep thinking, oh, we're going to elect these people. Now, the thing is, look at them. Do they know how to even rule their bodies? Simplest thing. It's right under your nose. It's yours. You won the deadly race to obtain that body. That's the thing that he's talking about. There is the power, the source of the creation, the universe. We're all one in different aspects, just like my organs are different than my cells, but it's still one body, right? What is inside us is outside us. What is outside us is inside us. And if they don't know how to rule themselves, how the hell are they going to be able to rule us? They have no clue what they're doing. Can you play a video? Mira?
I don't know, Professor. I'm getting a feedback from I don't know if it's your background or what, but we are getting a little feedback.
We just need everyone to mute.
Okay, I think everyone mute your mic, including myself, so Professor can come through. We're all muted now.
Oh, I just wanted you to start the video.
What do you think of yourself? The conceptions that you have of yourself are locked in what is called the subconscious mind.
I spent 25 years researching men living to 110 or 120. I discovered one.
That's the subconscious mind. The conceptions that you have of yourself are locked in here. And the only way to change you is if somehow a key can be found to unlock that door and let that stuff out. Otherwise, everything sits in there and festers in there and causes you big problems. I would suggest to you, if you really want some time to get a little good study on this, go into a bookstore, a Dalton bookstore, Waldman Books or something. Pick up a book written by Carl Jung. Carl Jung, spelled J-U-N-G, who was a contemporary and a partner of Sigmund Freud. And it's a book called The Undiscovered Self. You're not reading a New Age, you're not reading a preacher, you're not reading a religionist, you're not reading a screwball, you're reading one of the most eminent psychoanalysts that ever lived on the face of the earth, and he'll tell you about the subconscious mind. And there is nobody with better credentials to talk about it than Carl Jung. But so where's the key? Where is the key for everything that your parents have put in there that was wrong? Where's the key for everything the church has put in there that is wrong? Where's the key for everything that the government has put in there that was wrong? Where's the key? Everything that your friends have put in there that is wrong. And all of that stuff is festering in there. Take a look at page 847 in your Bible. Go to Luke chapter 11. Luke chapter 11, page 847 in your Bible. And then Jesus says in Luke chapter 11, verse 52, woe unto you lawyers. He's talking biblical scholars. You have taken away the key of knowledge. Why? Because you entered not in yourselves. And them that were entering in, you hindered. In other words, what Jesus Christ just said, by entering within yourself, you take the key to unlock the door and let all of this hurt out. But right now, it's locked. And everything is, and if you study Carl Jung, you study Sigmund Freud, you'll find this is the location of your problem. And you don't even know that. Because the subconscious mind is the key. Do you know what the subconscious mind does? It never sleeps. When you dream out of the subconscious mind. It never sleeps. It never forgets. It remembers everything that you've forgotten. It never forgets a thing. And a psychiatrist can take your subconscious mind right back to the beginning. Sometimes you walk down a street and you smell something. Instantly you're transported back to maybe your aunt's house or your grandma's house or something, and all the people surround you. You can feel the house, you can feel everything. You can see leaves on a lawn, on a front lawn, or the smell of the water hitting the grass at night, and you're back somewhere many, many years ago, and because it's all stored here, it's never forgotten. Everything you've ever heard, everything you've ever learned, everything that's ever been told to you is accepted as fact and stored in the subconscious mind. The most powerful instrument in the universe is the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is only 10%. And the thing is that everything that goes into the subconscious that causes the problem comes from the conscious. Somebody tells you something, it goes in there and it finds a place to dwell and grow in there. Somebody teaches you something. Somebody frightens you. It all goes from here, your conscious mind, and then it goes into the subconscious mind. And when it goes into the subconscious mind, you forget it. But your subconscious doesn't. So a situation happens. See, this is only 10% of, this is the key of tithing. This is why God said it is so important that you tithe. I need you to give that 10%. I need you to turn that off, because as long as you leave this active, all of the fear, all of the hate, all of the discouragement, all of the depression is going to come flying in here and root itself in the Garden of Eden. And the Garden of Eden is going to be filled with weeds and all ugly things growing in there. This here conscious mind has good things. You help people with it. Don't you? Sometimes say, they're going to help the people with Hurricane Andrew. That's coming out of the conscious mind. That's a good thing. Has a lot of bad things. And it's called in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And it says, don't eat from that tree. Go to Eden at the east, to the right side. Eat from there. But this here, first of all, has to be reprogrammed now. We'll get into that. See, because who's the servant here? Look at the size of the subconscious mind. Look at the size of the conscious mind. And the fact is that the servant is the subconscious. The master is this little insignificant conscious mind.
Ready to bring your brand?
Yeah, Grand Rising, Professor. It's hold on. Take it off because it's 28 minutes after the hour now. We're
Okay.
The hour. But I'll allow you to do your closing.
Now, what did anyone, I would like to ask class what they thought of the video. This is the first time I've ever actually seen someone refer to the Bible as yourself, as like a manual. To me, it was quite interesting because I was always asking the question, if I was the only one in this planet and I didn't know anything, right? What would I do? Wouldn't I ask myself what to do? Wouldn't I ask myself where to go? Wouldn't I ask myself like how to be? Because when you think about it, you're the only one that gets yourself up in the morning and does your little routine go to work to try and pay your bills. You're the only one that feels all the serotonin, endorphins, happiness, sadness, depression. You're the only one in the whole entire world out of 7 billion people that looks like you, acts like you, and thinks like you. Would you rather be the servant, or would you rather be the master of you? No one else, just you. You taking the time, a few minutes a day for yourself. Sit in a place and just think, am I breathing properly? Am I okay? Am I stretching? Like, do I feel flexible? Do I need to get a washout? What do you need? What do you want? Because what I'm trying to show you is, from your point of view, out of 500 billion sperm, you're the only one that made it. And then you came into the world. There's 7 billion people. And it's been reduced a hell of a lot by foreign entities that want you to not be the best you can ever be. Because only you can take yourself to the higher level of consciousness, and only you can keep yourself down in your carnal nature, your lower self. So what's it going to be? And that's the end of the class.
Any question? Any question, brothers and sisters? Professor, very precise. But if you have any question, you could ask. Professor, I will do the due diligence and put that last tape in the classroom for brothers and sisters who want to go more in depth. It's 48 minutes long, and we've done almost half of it. I can save the rest if you choose, Professor, to revisit at a later date, but I will put it inside the classroom. Any question? No? All right, Professor, anytime him come and blow the people in mind, you know. I say him always blow up for mind, you know, and leave us to think outside, you know, but that's why we cherish his knowledge, you know. And I think tonight, teaching, he was trying to give us more sovereignty, because as we say, you know, we are what we think. You know, if you think so, a man think it, so is he or she, and we have to capitalize on our brain power. Not a lot of us is using our brain power to the fullness, but
And it's very important. It's very important to understand that you are the most valuable thing on this planet, or they would not try to enslave you.
You are the Khalifa. Yes.
If you remember when we looked up minor, where did you ever see minor means lesser? Yes. And where did you see that word lesser? Wasn't it in the 1666 QV? Lessers and reversioners.
Yes.
Those who can make you lesser than yourself, a minor, and reversioners who basically have to give you profit plus interest. And who is the prophet? You are. What was Christ? A prophet. You are the value. Whether you like it or not, you're the most valuable thing on the planet.
Yes. Yes. All right. Well, Professor, thank you once again for your contribution tonight. Brothers and sisters, we have class tomorrow. And I think tomorrow is Wednesday. We'll be going into documents, and we will try tomorrow. I will try to revisit the DOT, Department of Transportation in the United States, Department of Motor Vehicle in another jurisdiction, Her Majesty's Custom, all of these things. So it fall under your traveling. Tomorrow we'll be dealing with the traveling. So I wish you all well, and until tomorrow, when we resume class, I leave you with some Kumina, some real maroon music. All right.
We shall be.
Thank you, Professor.
We shall be.
Out here.
Thank you, Professor.
I am